Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'm thankful that you guys are here today with me in this beautiful day that the Lord has made. God is still good, God is still great. I posted my first YouTube video, not too long, under 5 minutes, just a little intro. And this is kind of like intro part 2 because there's a lot of things, a lot of chapters in my life that I have to go over for a lot of people to be able to understand why I do the things I do, or why I think the way I do, or how I treat others, you know, because I do a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily do right off the bat, and I treat people with a certain amount of respect that a lot of people aren't given right off the bat, because some people think respect is earned, but I will give the smallest of child the most respect I can, because it's just the way I am, the way God has built me, just from life and, what I've been through. Back to the main topic I wanted to get to today was I wasn't always a spiritual man. I didn't always want to live a spirit life. There was times where my life was in complete darkness, and I was walking in darkness and walking for darkness. I'm a child of the light now because the Lord had to come into my life. When I was very young, I didn't really have the financial stability that a lot of people do now, or that a lot of people just have in general. I remember growing up really, really, really poor. Since I was little, there was good times and there was bad times. There's times of plenty and there was times of very little. And even now, I go through these times and phases. It's not something that I've abandoned completely, but the Lord has, put me through a life that I could have always had more. I always had plenty. The Lord kept me alive and I'm still here breathing, so I've had enough. I'm here speaking, I'm here preaching, I'm here trying to spread love, so I've had plenty, I've had enough. God has kept me alive, and I'm thankful for everything I've had and for everything I haven't. Because even the things that I haven't had made me who I am today. I had to go without some things. And to me, when I grew up living in that type of poverty, I remember thinking, I thought it was just normal. And when I mean by poverty, I mean like, I remember going to house. I can't even count the amount of schools, elementary schools, that I went to when I was younger, because we were so broke we could only pay rent for so long, and after that we had to go to a different house, and just we had to do that as much as we could, because there was only reason we had money to pay rent at times was because of churches, because of people. And I remember my parents always depending on other people, or always having to ask for help just to get food on our plates. My mom did things that she had to do what she had to do to raise us, to put food in our plates. And sometimes there was no food in our plates. I remember times where I had to go to sleep to not feel hunger. That was my lunch. That was my dinner. Sleeping, dreaming of some food, because there wasn't nothing to eat. I remember having to go to school because of food. We got free lunch. And my mom would tell me, you better eat at school, because when you get home, there's not going to be no food. You better eat breakfast, you better eat lunch. And you better grab as much food as you can to take home. Grab as many apples, grab as many things as you can, because there's not going to be no food at home. It was a hard life, but I always remember, especially when I was younger, even when I didn't have things, I was always a happy child. God always gave me joy and just peace. And there was scary times. There was times where I was abused and I was mistreated. But regardless of those times, I always remember, staying positive. I always remember in some type of way God being there. I didn't know it for the longest time until God revealed it to me, but God was always, in my thick and thins, God was always there. God was always pushing me and giving me these little pushes and helps. And if it wasn't for the grace of God, I wouldn't be alive. I wouldn't be here. My little brothers wouldn't be alive. My little sister wouldn't be alive. I'm the oldest out of 5. And since I was 8, 7, I was changing my little brother's diapers and cooking them food and stuff. There was months where we only ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or just peanut butter sandwiches, because we couldn't afford jelly. Months. But I loved them. I loved peanut butter jelly sandwiches. It's like a miracle that I'm here breathing and speaking to y'all today. And that's just something that I really wanted to have to get off my chest. Because I might have this positive mentality right now, this nothing can stop me mentality now, but at one point I was real weak and I was real dark. When I moved to Kansas, basically forced to move to Kansas, I really fell into darkness. The school district I was in was really not the best. The people I was hanging out around with weren't, the best people. And I wasn't doing the best things. I fell into anger and this jealousy and all the fleshly desires that you can imagine. At one point I was doing so many drugs I can't even count. Before I moved back to Texas, before God woke me up, I was doing ketamine, K-pens, Xanax, Molly, cocaine, LSD, like all the type of drugs that you can imagine. Selling drugs, I was the person that was willing to take any risks that had nothing to lose, that was willing to do just something stupid just because I thought people were my friends. I was living such a dark lifestyle that God had to literally come into my life and show me that He was real, for me to change, for me to transform into the man that I am today. There had to be divine intervention in my life because I was so lost. I was in so much darkness. Before God found me, before God woke me up, I literally overdosed in my house with a bunch of people there because I had just got my house robbed a week prior to that by people I thought were my friends. And they took a lot from me. I've never been stripped. I've never had something taken from me like that and felt the way I did. They took my gun. They took everything. By the next day, I had another gun and I was looking. I was trying to find out who robbed me, trying to retaliate, trying to get my revenge. But after my house got robbed, I didn't eat for weeks, for like a week. And I was popping Xanax and K-pens. And I was at the verge of death. The devil had me in the palm of his hand. He could do anything he wanted with me. The devil literally had strings on me attached, and he could just control every one of my moves. I was a pawn of Satan. I started trouble everywhere I go. I ran my mouth. I remember when I overdosed, I woke up. I had a seizure, apparently, because I don't remember. To me, this was all darkness. But all I remember was my legs cramping up. And it felt like I was getting cramps on both of my legs. And after that, everything went dark. And I woke up in my restroom with everybody around me. And they had this look in their face like they had just seen death. Because they did, because I died, apparently. So for a certain amount of time, I didn't have any breath. And they didn't know what to do because there were so many drugs at my house, they couldn't call the ambulance, apparently. So they were just gonna ditch me in my restroom while they left. And I still hung out with these people after that and still looked at them as family. Completely lost, completely just thinking that I knew what was right, That's when I heard the voice of God. And God came into my life and showed me and told me some things that I can't even repeat. I just remember knowing that God was gonna make everything new. That He's at the doorstep, that He's at the door, that He's looking for us, how we're all connected, everything's connected. God showed me so many visions and dreams and miracles. I saw miracles right before my eyes. I just lost my ex-girlfriend. I just got my house robbed. Had just overdosed. Had just quit my job for my ex. Didn't have no money. I was in Kansas. My parents didn't know anything that was going on. But when God found me, it was something that was put in my heart to reveal all this to them, to tell them about all the things that I've done. And now I'm here speaking about them. But God told me, he's like, you can ask me for anything you want. I said, okay. It wasn't like me putting God to the test, because it was like I knew God was real. It's like I spoke to him. It was no doubt in my heart now, to this day, that God is real. So I was like, okay, God. I was like, let me go to Texas. I want to move to Texas, and I want to see my grandma before I die or before she dies. Because I didn't know if I was going to get out of Kansas, the things that were happening around me. Everyone turned their back to me when I turned to God. All the people that I thought were friends, everyone abandoned me. A lot of people, a lot of good homies stayed true, stayed with me, and helped me through those dark times. Because regardless of the light and God in my life, there was darkness all around me. It was a storm. But God made me a light. God put these things in my heart. God put these premonitions and visions and thoughts and miracles in my life. It's impossible for me to say I don't believe in God. Within the month, I was in Texas and got to see my grandma. I got to live here. Still currently living in Texas, but got to live here with my grandma 2 years before she passed away. And God has completely transformed me, completely changed me. Because I'm not the man I used to be. That Dylan, that man, that person died in Kansas. God had to literally transform me and make me brand new. I am a new creation in Christ, made new in his image. And he's currently shaping me until I die. I am not done. Until my very last breath, I am still here, and I'm still going to grow and shine. Or my purpose isn't going to be fulfilled until he calls me home. So I'm here in Texas. I quit all those drugs. I remain true. I remain loyal and faithful to my God. After all he did for me, he literally took me out of the hand of the devil and said, this is mine, you can't touch this. He claimed his property, I'm his, and he is mine. I'm made for him. He made me for the gospel, as a disciple of Christ. That's who I am now. I'm no longer a disciple of Satan, a pawn of Satan, but a child of the Most High God. He guides me, he leads me. I've remained loyal, I've remained faithful. I've read the Bible every day since I've been here. I remain true. I hold those things so dearly to me because God has done so much for me. It says, blessed are those who have seen and believe, but even more blessed are those who haven't seen and yet still believe. I had to see for myself to change. If God didn't come down and show me the things he did, I would have died. Only God could have changed me, and only God did. It took divine intervention for me to turn my life around. I pray that no one else is in that position. Be thankful if you believe in God and having gone through the things that some of the people gone through. Because I might have had it bad, but there's always someone that has it worse, that has been through more, who has had less. And I guarantee those people through Christ are strong, iron sharpening iron. We are made to overcome everything in our path. It's what makes us, it's what trains us. We're built to shine, we're lights, so we're put in darkness. I think I'm gonna end off that video with that. And I'm gonna work on my video and my talking and my speech. You know, it's my second video. I excel at everything I put my hand into, I put my mind or heart into, because God has excelled me. God blesses me. He guides me. He leads me. The Lord is my strength. He's my energy, my source, but he is also my shepherd. He's who guides my thoughts, my mind, and leads my every footstep. He is my strength, my energy, my source, and he's also my guide, my leader, my boss, my general. I'm a soldier of the Most High God. So I'm going to excel. My videos are going to continue to get better, and I'm going to continue to spread love. I just want to get more organized with them, you know, and like keep tuning in, keep following, keep subscribing, keep liking, keep commenting. I do TikToks. You want to find me on TikTok? I'll put a link or something, or I'll try to figure that out. And I just read the word on there, straight Bible verses, raw Bible verses, nothing else on my TikTok. I have a TikTok for working out too, because, you know, mentally, physically, verbally, and spiritually, I'm growing, I'm building myself. God is building me. He is my foundation. But we're going to continue to build on this foundation. I love y'all. Y'all stay positive, keep y'all's head up, don't give up, don't ever give up. Until next time.